Anyone else remember this? That brings back some memories for me. For those of us new to the community, and a little refresher for us oldies, Sea of Thieves used to dedicate a lot more time to its transparency with the community in the form of these weekly dev updates, where Mr. Joe Neat would give us updates about the game. Some of the time it was important or exciting information, and other times it was just general banter. Shortly after the game's release, the weekly dev updates began on YouTube. They look so young! This was mainly because the initial version of the game's release had a much more limited set of features that were announced compared to the current version, and was plagued with severe game-breaking bugs. The developers were committed to informing the player base that they were actively addressing game-breaking bugs and planning to release new features in the near future, and they did just that. All the while, the admirable Joe Neat would inform us of progress each and every week, eventually evolving into a tavern talk area and moving away from the whiteboard days. Despite the rocky release, the developer updates continued uninterrupted. Each week, Joe Neat would post a brief video informing the community of bug fixes, new features, estimated release dates, and addressing player feedback and community activity. Even if the video may have lacked exciting information, focusing instead on general game updates or humorous clips, the community viewed it as a reliable source of developer feedback, even if they disagreed with certain decisions or content releases. This created a stronger sense of community, as people felt they had access to all relevant information to address their questions. And if they needed additional details, they could simply refer back to an older video. This direct communication from the developers helped foster a strong sense of community and solidified Rare's reputation as one of the most transparent game companies on the market. Ultimately, the community felt their questions were being answered, even if the content seemed trivial. And then, in January 2020, it stopped. The weekly developer updates were replaced with a new series of news videos. These videos were less frequent than the previous updates, but provided more condensed information from various reliable sources. The news videos initially came out twice a month rather than once a week, offering players a concise overview of important or exciting game developments. While they lacked the personal one-on-one feel of the old developer videos, the news format still kept players informed. However, the release schedule for these videos gradually slowed down over time, eventually resulting in shorter monthly updates. Alongside, the developers also released a series of engaged, long-form podcast videos, in which they discussed diverse community perspectives and delved deeper into past or future content updates. Initially, the frequency of these news and podcast videos was high, but it has since slowed down significantly. Currently, the community is lucky to get 2 news videos per seasonal update, and the last podcast video was released 8 months ago. This lack of consistent communication has left the community feeling disconnected, as they feel as though their concerns and questions are not being adequately addressed. The developers are very active on official forums and social media platforms. However, the absence of a stronger developer presence within the community has made the community feel like their questions are not being answered, mainly due to it being somewhat difficult for them to find these answers, as they are fragmented in several different forum posts, social media messages, or buried within podcasts or news videos from months ago. The old weekly developer videos were an invaluable resource for the community. They provided regular, transparent updates on the game's progress and were vastly superior to the new news videos. Given the current issues with Sea of Thieves at the moment, such as the questionable game health, bugs, and problematic cheating and harassment problems, I believe it's time for these weekly developer updates to return. The news videos, while providing valuable content for the game, often take on a more political tone and lack the transparency that players expect. In fact, these videos are nearly indistinguishable from generic game update videos, straying far from the core principles upon which this game was originally founded. When Sea of Thieves first launched, the weekly developer update videos were a game changer. They served as a reliable, direct line of communication from the developers, which I feel was crucial to the game's early success and longevity. Those update videos put Sea of Thieves on a pedestal that no other game has come close to matching. I sincerely hope the developers hear this plea. The community misses those weekly developer updates, and I believe they need to make a comeback now more than ever before. They were instrumental in the past and could be again during this critical time for the game's health and future.
to earn doubloons. It means there's quite a lot of ways to earn doubloons in the world. And I really think that the next video Captain Falcore does is just going to be me saying doubloons, by the way, as a result of this. Doubloons. 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 Doubloons.